Blog Talk Radio.
You are live at the Literary Lounge with your host, Destiny D, bringing you the newest and the brightest of the literary world right to your ear hole. Every Saturday from 1 to 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Tune in, listen up, and learn something. This is the spot for new hot authors who are given the opportunity to shine. Each Saturday from 1 to 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, we will showcase a new author here at the Literary Lounge. We are taking out the time to give all of our literary friends an opportunity to showcase their work. The New Author Spotlight is a platform that allows us to ask up to 10 questions or more to give you, the audience, the most in-depth current information about each writer in their literary piece. We will have a new guest every week. Stay tuned. Hey, this is your girl, Destiny D, live on WTLR Radio. And today's date is February 9th, 2019. And we have a special guest on today's show by the name of Hezekiah Morris. He is a new up-and-coming author that we want to do a spotlight on today. We want to talk about his new book, how he began writing, and all of that good stuff. So we're going to see if he's on the line, so you guys hold tight. All right, Hezekiah, is that you on the line?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, thank you so much for being on the show today. You are live at the Literary Lounge, and we want to talk a little bit about you and your book. So please let the audience know who you are, where you're from, and give us a little bit of background on how you began writing.
My name is author Hezekiah Morris. I hail from Appomattox, Virginia. And I had a curious way of beginning writing. It was one of them things where I got into some trouble with the law, and I had to spend some time in jail. And when I was sitting in jail, I sat there, I was like, man, I was just going over my life, like all these mistakes I'm making, back and forth. Why? And I just started writing a book from the beginning of my life to up to the point where I was that day. And I didn't know that it was going to do as well as it did, but I promised myself when I got out of jail that I was going to publish this book. I went and got a job. I worked day labor, making $45 a day. I sent the $35 in to get the book copyrighted. I found me a publisher out of Charlotte, North Carolina. He said, well, I'm going to read it. If we like it, send me $150 and we'll get started on it. And I was like, okay. So he called me back in 30 minutes and said, let's go with it. I love it. And that was my beginning. And it hasn't stopped.
Oh, okay. That sounds great. I actually applaud you for using your time wisely. I have a lot of young men who I have in my inmate outreach program where I try to do that for them as well. I allow them to take their time that they have during their incarceration and allow them to write books and things of that nature so that they could pass the time and also make it profitable and also have the probability of being an author even after their release. So that's a good thing that you did use your time wisely. Now, can you tell us a little bit about your book? Can you give us the title and everything and let us know?
Well, I have 3 books. The first one is Restoring Hezekiah, the first one is Restoring Hezekiah, Changing a Generation. And that focuses on how I was brought up in the home, my home life, and all the advantages I had basically as a kid, but I never took advantage of it because I was scared and dealing with peer pressure and trying to fit in and be somebody I wasn't. And how God, even though I was a sinner and was deeply sin, God always watched out for me. He always had my back. He always was there for me. And it talks about growing up in a domestic violence home. It talks about going to the military and graduating top 4 in my class. And it talks about me going through relationships and how everything still ended with me having to get down on my knees and be like, okay, God, what is my purpose in my life? And that's what my first book talks about. And it also talks about how no matter what, we still can dream. We still have opportunities that we can go get. No matter what we've been through, we still can dream. We still can hope. And we still can be restored. And my second book is Restoring Hezekiah, Me and Only Me. And it talks about relationships and how us as men sometimes are not ready for relationships and how we keep getting in relationships and just determined to, this is who I'm going to be. And we find out that is not who we are. And we try to use this facade in relationships like, okay, I'm going to be happy. I'm going to work the 7 to 3:30 job, and I'm going to come home, and I'm going to be happy. But ain't everybody built like that. And it talks about that, how I always wanted to find the perfect woman who is pretty and all, just amazing. And it never worked because we never really got to know each other. And that's what it talks about in this book, is about how can me as a man learn to love a woman without even to sleep with her? How can I love myself? How can I love another woman I don't even love myself? And I always played myself as the victim, but actually they are the victim because I've caused chaos in our life, and that's what that book touches on. And my last book is called Remember Them Days When We Were Young. I had, once I started my journey with my books, I was missing home. And I was missing some of the fun times with the guys. So I said, I'm going to pay homage to that. I'm going to write a book about the days that we used to hang out and have a good time. But I also put a lesson in there because with the good came the bad. And I knew it wasn't going to last. And it has a powerful message for the teenagers and young people that's going through. You know, I talk about addictions. I talk about alcoholism, everything in my books. Because I try to motivate people like, you are not alone. We all go through problems and tribulations and trials. But it's how we get over the problem and the trials and tribulations. How do we get through it? How do we see on the other side of what we're going through? Because we always worry about tomorrow, but tomorrow isn't promised. So what can I do today?
That's true. That is definitely true. And I'm glad that you had the opportunity to, like, sit and reflect and actually break that down because, like you said, there are a lot of people, male and female, who feel like the same situation with the relationship thing. And it's like you're looking for that perfect person, but at the end of the day, it's like only the only thing that matters is if you there for one another. Like I find lately that most relationships, you're gonna find somebody who's like 93% good. But it's up to you. It's up to you to find, to see whether or not that other 7% of their flaws is enough to keep them or to let them go. Because sometimes those flaws are major. It may be minute, but they are major. So it's like if they, like you said, if it's an abusive relationship, whether it be verbal, physical, emotional, that's that percentage that just needs to be let go. But if it's like, leaving the toilet seat up or not picking up behind himself or not doing like you're supposed to be doing at home, those things can be worked on. Now, I have been told by the older generation that if you see more good than bad, stick it out. But
that's
if you go through like this certain situation where you say, okay, I'm just gonna sit down with you and let you know, okay, this is not good for us. And if we're going to continue to be in us, then we either need to work on this or let it go. Because sometimes you have to be able to be that person to say, okay, this is affecting me, this is bothering me, I'm letting you know about it. And then the older people say, well, if they try to change, give them the benefit of the doubt. But if they continue to do it and don't care about your feelings, leave them alone. Because they're going to think about themselves and themselves alone. So, with everything comes time. And I have noticed that it's something about the number 30. It's like when a person reaches 30, it's like that light bulb clicks on and says, okay, time to put away childish things. Time to be about my business. Time to do things right, decent, and in order, And
I wish mine had clicked on at 30.
Huh?
I wish mine had clicked on at 30.
Well, some people are late bloomers. Like, that's when you see, like, the old heads that's out there trying to act like they're young. Their bulb ain't clicked on yet. So, more than likely when they hit about 70, 80, 90, and they realize that their body can't keep up with what they're trying to do, then that's when their bulb will click on. But it'll be one of them low wattage bulbs. But by then, ain't nothing they can do.
Yeah, you're right. You're right.
But yeah, it's something that, and see, sometimes, like in your circumstance, when that light bulb doesn't click on at 30, some kind of intervention has to take place, and you might not think that it's for your good, but at the end of the day, it might be the very thing that you needed in order to get your mind right. I mean, I know a lot of people look at incarceration as being like the worst thing that could possibly happen to a person, but it does give you a moment of reflection. It does give you time to get yourself together. Now, I know that some of those places are not safe because you're in there with all walks of life.
Oh, yeah.
I have noticed that if you stay to yourself, if you try to stay to yourself and refrain from being involved with anything extra, like your time go by. And I don't ever want to find out. I have no intention of going over there, not even to visit. So so that's just my take on that. But I'm glad that you actually took the opportunity to write these stories because, it's basically your biography about your life and how you came up. And, I think it's very important for people to get their stories out there, to allow people to get those life lessons, those pearls of wisdom to kind of keep them from going down the same road that you already been down. Like, you already know for a fact this is what's waiting on you on the other side if you do this. Like, my life is a book, literally, that you can read and you can go step by step into all the wrong mistakes to make and what not to do. Now, you got some that's just hard-headed and some that just have to get knocked a couple of times and then
that's me.
Either they
I'm the hard-headed
figure it out. See, you either get bopped a couple of times and then figure it out, or either you
Yeah,
get
I'm the
mad
hard-headed
or
one.
figure it out. Yeah, so, a lot of times, and it's good that you were able to say that, because, see, a lot of people, when they know they hard-headed, know they wrong, knowing they doing things, and now they reflect back and say, well, I don't do those things anymore. That's change. That's the reform, that people are looking forward to seeing in people who have done wrong, to accept the fact. And a lot of people don't want to accept it. They'll lie
That's right.
against it and say, well, that won't me. I ain't do it. And know they've done it, but they just don't want to accept the consequences that come behind it. So it's like you have grown to know right is right, wrong is wrong. I'm not going to do those type of things no more because I know where I end up. And so that's good, and it's good for you to be able to get the young heads involved so that they don't make the same mistakes. So I think that's a blessing. It may not feel like it when you're going through, but when you're coming out on the other side of it, you can always look back, because they always say hindsight is 20/20, but looking at it and going through it is a whole another thing. And with that being said, we're going to take one short break, and we're going to come right back, and we're going to dig more into both of those, all three of your books, if you have a chance.
Okay, that's fine.
We want to be able to like really go in depth with everything that you put out. So just hold on the line for me, and we'll be right back.
Okay.
This is the spot for new hot authors who are given the opportunity to shine. Each Saturday from 1 to 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, we will showcase a new author here at the Literary Lounge. We are taking out the time to give all of our literary friends an opportunity to showcase their work. The New Author Spotlight is a platform that allows us to ask up to 10 questions or more to give you, the audience, the most in-depth current information about each writer in their literary piece. We will have a new guest every week. Stay tuned.
All right, welcome back to the Literary Lounge, and we are live on WTLR Radio, and today's date is February 9th, 2019, and just to let you guys know, I want to give a brief shout-out to my daddy. Today is his birthday. God rest his soul, and I just wanted to pay homage to the person who brought me in this world. So love you, Daddy, and happy birthday. Our special guest today is Hezekiah Morris, and we was talking about 2 or 3 of the books that he has out right now. The one Restoring Hezekiah, Part 1 and 2, and then also another book that he was reflecting on, back in the day with him and his friends and things of that nature. So we wanted to go a little bit more into, his books and stuff like that. So let's see if he's still on the line. All right. Still there?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, great. So what we want to do is we want to do a full breakdown of your first book, Restoring Hezekiah. So how long did it take you to actually put that book together?
Well, I got locked up for 4 months. So I started writing it about my second month in jail. So it took me to the time I got out of jail to finish it. It was finished by the time I got out of jail, so it took me roughly 3 months to write it.
Okay. And the publishing company that you use, you said out of Charlotte, North Carolina. Can you tell us a little bit about that company?
J.J. Planner Books. He was my first publisher. He believed in me, and he said, well, I think you got a good book. Let's do it and let's go for it. After I got the book published, I marketed it, promoted it myself. I left home. I went to New York. I went to Philadelphia. I did book signings at Howard University, Temple, Penn State, Columbia University. I did Georgetown University. I was on Say So Radio. And I pushed it and marketed my own self. And the amazing thing about that book, Amazon was selling it for $700 during Christmas time.
What?
Yes.
You said 700.
Somebody had purchased the book, and they were selling my first book on Amazon for $700.
Wow, that is crazy. What? Wow. If somebody actually bought it?
It's a powerful book, though. Now they're selling it for $123.
Good. Look, okay, how long is the book? Like, how many pages is it?
It's about 117 pages.
Wow, that is awesome. That is awesome.
But
awesome.
It's a great book. You know, I talk about that peer pressure. Like, you know, growing up, I was dark skinned, so at that time, you know, people call you blackie and stuff like that. Like everything that contributed to my self-esteem. By the time I got to high school, I was totally lost as a child. So I had to find my niche. I had to fit in, you know, so I picked up an image. And I talk about how we, in high school, how we pick up the image, how we choose our friends, who we want to hang with, who we want to be with. And I took that image and I rolled with it, and I kept that image almost through life. And that image nearly killed me, you know, dibbling in drugs and alcohol, relationships, and just not caring, losing jobs, and just, you know, just like feeling like somebody owed me something. You know, yeah, I had a rough childhood. Somebody owed me something. You know, that's how I felt. And this book talks about all that. It talks about how I went to the military and graduated top 4 of my class. Was supposed to go to Japan for 8 years, and I got caught smoking weed. It talks about how I still, when I hit my 30s, was in and out of jail, and I still went to college and graduated with a 3.7 grade point average, cum laude, in computer engineering. It talks about my trial and error.
Right. Now, when you say you graduated from college and all of that stuff, was that before the incarceration or after?
The same time. The same
time.
I was going to college and I got incarcerated for 4 months. See, this was my first brush with I didn't start going to jail until I hit 30. That's why when you said 30, I was like, wow, I ain't learned nothing. You know, when my 30s, I got in a bad relationship, so I was in and out of jail dealing with her. And I actually had to write an essay so they would let me back in college to finish my degree.
Wow, that is so awesome. I'm glad that you were able to do that, because, you know, most people who are in a situation like that, they tend to lose everything they work so hard for. Like if they had scholarships and stuff like that, they get revoked and all of that stuff. So I'm glad you was able to write that essay and be able to, like, go right back in where you left off at. Like, that is awesome.
I was on the dean's list twice.
Well, that's good.
I had perfect attendance. Yeah, I had perfect attendance. I got my FCC license, my fiber optics license. I got my computer technician A+ license.
So
all while getting a felony. Huh?
Right. That's what I was about to ask you. How does a whiz kid with all of that knowledge and all of that understanding get caught up like that? Like, what happened?
too smart for his own good.
Oh, so you thought you were smart enough to get away with whatever you done, and you won't.
Yeah, yep.
Mhm.
Or sometimes that's
tell
in the
my
wrong.
son the same thing.
Mhm. Sometimes you're in the wrong place at the wrong time.
Right, right. But sometimes it's like you make a 3-second decision that could change your life forever. I don't understand how people can do that. You know, they literally weigh their life in the balance for 3 seconds before making a decision that could very well change their life, and they don't even think twice about it. Like I tell my son all the time, he's the same way. He has honor classes ever since first grade. He's getting ready to start taking college prep courses when he gets into the 9th grade, and he thinks because he's book smart that that's enough and that he can get by me with stuff. But there's a let me change that up. There is a blessing in knowing who you belong to, because the Most High always gives me discernment. He always let me know when something ain't right. He always lets me know what it is, and I can go right to him. And I give him most times the opportunity to either fess up or lie to me, which he know I can't stand people to lie to me. But I give him the opportunity to either come clean or to try to run with the story that he's sticking to. But it always get revealed. It never stays hidden. It always get revealed. So I try to break him now so that I don't have to worry about him later. I figure if you get all of those things instilled now, then they know better. But, you know, a lot of times you could be brought up in a good home. You could be told everything the right way, but it's still up to you to apply those things. Like, you can know right is right and wrong is wrong, but if you don't apply it, then it's on you. Like I tell him, I'm not the one that's going to be in trouble. You are. You know what I'm saying? You do something stupid, you hurt yourself, I'm not going to hurt. You are. So you have to be mindful that you're going to pay for whatever decision that you make. Now, granted, he's not 18, so if he does something illegal, of course, they're going to come to me and be like, okay, Mama, where was you and why you didn't, you know, let him know that that was not the right thing to do and stuff like that, because they're not playing with these kids now. Like, they're willing they're willing to lock them up, shoot them now. They don't care. Cause and they'll even charge 13-year-old, 12-year-old with adult charges and put them in facilities where they're not even supposed to be. Like, I had a friend of mine who both her fiance and his brother were locked up, and they were innocent on top of that, but they were locked up for over 30 years for a crime they never committed. Now, mind you, the fiance was actually 16 years old when it happened. So they put him in regular population with all of the other convicts, and he wasn't even supposed to be in there. Like, he was supposed to rent to, like, a detention center until he turned 18, and then once he became 18, he was supposed to go into regular population, but they didn't do that. They put both of them. Now, mind you, his brother was 13. They put them both in prison with grown folk. They did not care. And it's crazy, but they got unlawfully arrested, first and foremost. But they were very, they went through a lot. Matter of fact, the youngest brother is like still not in no shape to even deal with society like how it is right now, because it messed him up for life.
He's a baby.
Right, and see, like I said, they were supposed to take both of them and put them in, you know, youth group juvenile detention centers until they became 18, and then shifted them. They did not do that, and that scarred them for life. You know, more so for the youngest one, because he got sodomized and all that stuff while he was in there. So that messed him up mentally. But the oldest one, he got out, but by the time he got out, he didn't even know what a cell phone was. He had never seen a color TV. You feel me? So it's a lot of those that passed.
Yeah.
I mean, we look at 30 years as being a short span of time, but look at how far we came, you know, as far as technology. Like he was a baby. He was a baby when vinyl records and 8-tracks was out. He missed all of cassette tapes, CDs, DVDs. Yeah. He missed all of that. So it's like when he come out, it's like a futuristic world, and they don't even know how to deal with those type of things. But
no, and
I'm sorry that I went on off with that, but
it's stressful.
It's something
people
that
don't
people
understand
need to,
how stressful it is.
Yeah, and
you
then
know,
if you get into something
on
while
my record,
you're
I got
trying to protect yourself.
Yeah, and they don't know how hard it is. On my record, I got 2 felonies. Now, as smart as I am, I got 2 felonies on my record. Now, I'm supposed to be working somewhere making $200,000 a year. Because I got 2 strikes on my record, I cannot. But they coming out soon, hopefully. It's almost time. But it's a struggle. You have to wait 7 years for a job to even look at you.
Wow. Yeah, and you know, it's crazy because like most felons feel that once they are released, if they are released, like there's no work for them, you know, because who wants to hire someone with a record?
Yeah.
That's
what I think we need to change.
Right. And see, that was one of the reasons why I did the inmate outreach program, was for those who, you know, needed a line of work. Like they could work their own pace, make their own money, you know, build a brand with their books. And like,
that's right.
They could do whatever they want. They could write whatever they want and make money off of it. And don't have to worry about being employed to someone. They could just write their own work. And as long as your imagination is where you can put it out there, put it out there. And if it's not imagination and it's life lessons, put it out there. You know, there's a lot of lost people out here.
And Ms. That's when the light bulb went off in my head. Like, oh, I might can't get this job with this degree I got because I got a felony, but I know how to write. I'm very smart. And so after I wrote my first book, I was like, oh, okay. And you know what the most, you know what I heard when I wrote my book?
What's that?
My first book I wrote. Oh, you trying to be famous. You trying to be rich. You don't need to be doing nothing. You need to be going to church, getting your life saved. Oh, you're not stable. You're unstable. You're not going to make it. You just want to do what you want to do.
Well, you know what?
And if I had to listen to that, I wouldn't be where I was at today.
Well, I would like to tell you this. I have learned over time that your naysayers are your number one fans. The ones that want you to do less, the ones that want you not to shine, don't want to be outshined by someone like you. That's basically all it is. They are your number one fans. And any criticism, whether it be negative or positive, is still good criticism. A lot of people don't look at it that way. But you should. Like, even if you get a bad review is a review nonetheless. At least they took the time to read your work. So, you know, only reflect on those things as being skill builders. If there is a bad review, use it as a tool to better your writing. And if you feel like it was just said out of hate, then don't apply it. You know, continue to write the way that you write, because not everybody is gonna write the same. And I can't stand the cookie cutted, just duplicated. But you know, when you see urban novels, a lot of times you see the same thing over and over again. It might be a different title, another cover, but it be the same thing. It don't be anything different. And you know, when you have somebody that's out there that there isn't a genre for what you're doing, you create the genre. And I've told people that multiple times. Like, go ahead.
You know what people like? You know what I love? like when I first started writing, I was like, okay. I'm going to be the best at this. I want to be the greatest writer ever. I want to change the game. I want to change the way we view how people write books. I want to change the way people view how to read a book. I want to bring in the new wave of author. I want to be that guy that's like, man, that boy's on fire. You know, I'm always doing interviews. I'm always doing blogs. I'm always out there in the spotlight because that I like to do.
Well, that's a blessing, and I'm so glad that you did that, because it's information that we all should take and use, because there's still some grown folks that's misguided, especially when it comes to relationships.
And in every book I write is a lesson. Every book I write, God is in there. Like some people say,
well,
you got the platform.
That's the major thing.
Everybody's like, you got the platform now. You can spread how good Jesus is. I said, this is my platform. God got me to this platform. I don't have to spread how good Jesus is. He already know how good he is. He got me this far. You know, I leave that platform. That's for ministers, and I minister a different way. I minister through my writing.
Right.
When I go and speak and motivate people. You know, I always wanted to be a minister when I go. That wasn't my calling. My calling is to reach these kids and to help them to not do what I did. If I can save somebody's life, one alcoholic, one drug addict, one teenager, anybody, that's a job well done.
Right, and see, a lot of people don't realize that your ministry may not be in a physical church. It may be out in the community. Whatever skill set that the Creator gives to you, as long as you're using it for His benefit, then that's your ministry. Like, you don't have to be enclosed in a church preaching to people. No. You can be a minister. You can minister to people without having a theology license, you know. And it's coming from the life you led. It's coming from the mistakes you made. It's coming from the things and pearls of wisdom you were provided and you were given, and the things that you came into knowing. So it's like, as long as you help somebody in any way, like, it doesn't necessarily have to be giving a bum some money. It doesn't have to be saving somebody from a burning building. You know what I'm saying? It's like everybody has their own unique gift. And as long as you use it for the right reason, then you're a blessing to somebody. And that's all the Creator wants, is for you to use whatever gift He's giving you, you know, towards a greater good. It's when you use it for ill-begotten reasons. Like if you're using it just to make money. See, that's why I don't really dig half of the preachers out here, is because a lot of them have a lot of different things that they got going on behind closed doors. Right. They're there for the money. They sleeping with the congregation. They doing they homosexuals. They this and that. And I'm like, that is not the face of the Father. You're giving a bad image. You're giving a bad image. So I would actually honor someone who's doing it not for filthy lucre's sake, but for just helping somebody in need. Like, there's a difference between doing stuff to benefit yourself, and then there's something that you helping others, and there's a plus behind it for you after the fact. That's something different, because you're being benevolent with what you're doing.
And in my books, I tell her I'm not perfect by no means. I still sin. I still fall short. I still battle with my demons every day. But each day I wake up, I got another chance to get it right. Each day I wake up, I set a goal.
He said to strive for perfection. But see, that's even the life lesson right there. A lot of people, they know, but they don't apply. So it's like, what good is it to have all of it hidden in your brain, but not hidden in your heart, and not live through your daily practice. Like you know when you have a certain situation that could compromise your well-being. So you have to reflect and you have to say, yes, I'm going to do this because it's beneficial to me and I'm going to be all right with the outcome. Or either you can say, well, no, this ain't right and I'm not going to do it. So you have to really come into a certain mindset to be able to make those decisions, you know, for the betterment of your soul, not so much as yourself, but your soul, because you got to be mindful that all of those things hang in the balance. Like you said, you get another day to get it right, but what if your last day ain't your best day?
That's right.
And so you have to make sure that your mind is clear, your heart is clear before you lay down every night. You have to make sure that everything is in decent order, you know, because like you said, tomorrow's not promised. So you have to make sure that what you do for the day speaks for the rest of your life.
And one of my pet peeves is, like we was talking about the minister. Everybody gets their life together, and they like, oh, God called me to be a minister. Okay, we got all these ministers. Who's learning? Who's learning?
That's true. That's
who's
like how they say, too many chiefs and not enough Indians. Like everybody wants to be the head. Right.
Yeah, who's learning?
But right. So, you know, and I've noticed that a lot of people who are incarcerated for long periods of time, they do have the opportunity to find religion somewhere in there, which I'm not mad at that. I'm not knocking that at no means. But, you know, you have a lot of people who go to Islam. You have a whole lot of people who go to Christianity, but they don't really go into, you know, the full development of how all of those different religions came to be. You know, of course, they all are supposed to be. What's that?
We love God so much inside. Once we get a taste of the world, when we get out there for about 2 weeks, man, don't pick up the Bible no more. We go to church maybe the first 2 weeks. Don't go to church no more. You know, it's like we don't evolve. We still stay in that cycle.
Stay in the same space, stay stagnant. Yeah, and you're right. But see, there's some people who don't go because they see the wrongfulness that's in the church.
Oh my goodness.
They see the bigotry. They see the hypocrisy. You know what I'm saying? They see all the foul stuff that goes on at church. So they're like, what's the point of going? And so, you know, you have to reflect on all of those things in your own space. Because the Most High said, where 2 or 3 are gathered together in His name, there will I be in the midst. So as long as you got 2 or 3 that's touching and agreeing, then you at church. You don't have to be in a room full of vultures or snakes that's slithering around, that's talking all kinds of meanness and malice towards one another, that don't have no love in their heart for nobody but themselves. Right. Who has time for that? Nobody does. So a lot of people, you know, who don't want to deal with that don't. You know, they don't even bother to go. And then, like, I've noticed over time, like, I have stopped listening to certain preachers and stuff like that because they say one wrong thing and that makes me fall away from that altogether. Yeah, you know, I listened to T.D. Jakes for a long time, and then I heard him say that Jesus was the best product that any man could sell, and it sells itself. And that right there let me know what he was in the ministry for, you know. Then you had brothers like Bishop Noel Jones. He was okay, but then he had that situation with his wife, and then he ended up with cancer and all this other stuff. So the Most High knows how to take care of the ones that don't act right, especially like Eddie Long. He did the sodomizing of all them young men at his church and stuff like that, and look at how all of that was exposed. And it won't much later after it was exposed, he was gone. So, you know, a lot of times all of those things get rectified. I just don't feel comfortable following people who have those issues because that makes you a part of the flock. That makes you a part of the reckoning. And I do know that when he does come to search for a church without a spot or a wrinkle, some of them churches is going to be wrinkled. And I don't want to be there when the reckoning and the cleanup comes, because when he cleaned up the church the first time, he flipped tables and he kicked tail. So I don't want to be in there when he comes through.
For me, it's like this. It's like this.
Okay.
For me, it's like this. God knows I'm after his heart. And I fail on a daily basis. But we're just like David, chasing after his heart. If he sees that we're trying, he sees that we at least put in the effort to follow him. He knows that the devil is powerful and he's just a raging animal. He knows our heart. He knows deep down inside, God, we're trying. I'm trying, God. I'm trying. I might not be the best I am right now, but I am trying. And I still love you. I ain't forgot about it. I'm just trying. And it's like, people are like, you just make this mistake, this mistake. It's okay. It's okay. If I fall 8 times, I'm still going to get back up. If I mess up again, I'm still going to get back up. Because I'm never going to quit. When I quit, that's when I die.
As long as you have a positive mindset, that's all that matters. Just stay on the up and up as best you can and just live day to day. That's all I can tell you. But I do want to give all of your information out because we're right at the cusp of the third part of the segment where you can give all of your contact information and stuff like that. So first and foremost, let everybody know where they can find your books and stuff for sale.
Okay, you can find my books on Amazon, Barnes & Noble, and 3,000 other bookstores. Barnes & Noble's put 90 of my books in December on bookshelves across the United States. So that was a great achievement right there. But you can get them on Amazon. You can get Barnes & Noble's, Kindle. You can reach me on Facebook at Hezekiah Morris. You can reach me on Instagram as Arthur Hezzy. And you can reach me on Twitter, Freaky Vicky. I've been trying to change that name forever, and I just can't do it. Twitter won't let me do it. So it's still on there. So, and I have my website. I just got to update it. Go ahead.
All right. Do you have a email or anything that people can contact you with?
My email is Hezmore, HEZMOR 8522 @gmail.com. I also just finished my 4th book 2 days ago.
Oh, okay. So what's the name of that one?
The Player in Me.
Uh-oh.
I'm gonna, yes. And it was so fun writing this. It is amazing. It got plots. It got twists. It's steamy. It's hot. It's nasty. It's freaky, but it's a good book, and it got lessons in it. At the same time, it's nasty and hot. It has lessons in it. It talks about AIDS. It talks about domestic violence. It talks about marriage. It talks about the community. I threw it all in there.
Okay. All right. So y'all look out for his new book coming out. Also want you to reflect on the other 3. Can you mention those titles again and when they were released so we know
Restoring Hezekiah, Changing a Generation. That was released in 2017. Restoring Hezekiah, Me and Only Me. That was released in 2017. And Remember Them Days When We Was Young was released in 2018. So I've been busy.
Okay. Yeah, I can tell. So just to give a recap, how much are all the books worth right now?
You go to Barnes & Nobles and get the first one for $12 because Amazon, does prices is just outrageous for the first book.
Yeah, I saw that.
Restoring Hezekiah, Me and Only Me. I think that's $12.97. And Amazon is throwing a special on my last book, Remember Them Days When We Were Young. Right now it's on sale for $9.99. So you can get it for $10. And this is all of them are great reads. They are great reads. They're well written. And it's not everybody think they're like, you don't like hood books? I said, no. I don't like hood books. I mean I like hood books, but all the hood books to me sound the same. And a little
that's what I was saying. The urban novels.
A little out there.
Most of them is like a cookie cutter type of thing.
Yeah. Like, okay, you're having shootouts and all that. Okay. But I like to talk about real life situations. What's going on now.
Right.
You know, what's on my mind, the things that I see every day, what people tell me every day. Basically, my stories come from everyday communication with people.
Okay. So with that being said, like everybody to reflect on the interview that you had today, I want to give you an opportunity to give you shout-outs and all that good stuff, and I want to thank you for being on the show. So we have about 8 minutes left, so I want to give you a chance to, highlight anybody that you need to.
Okay, I want
to
give a shout-out to my brother, my dad, my mom, Prodigy Gold Books, Infinity Publications for them believing in me and taking on my third book and taking on my next project that's coming up. They are, and everybody back home in Virginia, everybody in Philly, New York, everywhere. I love you guys. Thank y'all for supporting me.
Okay, great. So with that being said, like I said, we'd like to thank you for being on the show today. And I think that all three of your books were very, very interesting to read, especially the one that's on relationships. I think that would help a lot of people out when it comes to the do's and don'ts. And I'm glad that you were able to share your story, and I really appreciate you actually taking your gift and making it count. So thank you for being on the show. I really appreciate you, and continue to do what you're doing. I don't know about that last book.
I'm telling you, you're going to love it. You're going to love it.
But
I read it. I had a review. I sit 5 women down the other day, and I said, y'all, it's nasty, but I need y'all to help me to review this. They went. They shook their head. They said, ooh. And at the end, they clapped for me. They said, it is beautiful. Well done.
Wow. Well, that's good. I mean, I can't find myself to write like that. I never have. Like, I've put out, I want to say about 5 different books, and not now one of them has any kind of steamy scenes or anything like that in it. Because I write from dreams. So basically, what I'm giving in a dream, I format it into a book. And so luckily, I was able not to have those type of things in there.
But people give me the idea.
I don't have to
like all of my books, somebody gave me the idea.
Oh, really?
Somebody will say something, and I take it and I run with it, and that's how I write a book. Okay, I'm gonna write a book about that.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's very interesting that you actually brought up, what you were saying about that book and how you talked about love and marriage and HIV and AIDS and stuff like that, because that is a story that needs to be read, and you need to distribute it in Atlanta.
Yeah,
because Atlanta is
and the story is based. That's what the story is based around.
Good, because I did an article about
it. Is the story is based around that.
Yeah, I did an article about that because Atlanta, as far as HIV and AIDS, is worse than a third world country.
Third world country, yeah. That's in the book too.
Yeah, I actually had that in my magazine a couple of months back. And I was like, I put it on notice, so that people would know. And I even had it down to the zip codes where it was all red. to let them know that pretty much everybody in this particular zip code got it. And I'm like, oh, my God. I think that's terrible. But, a lot of times when you're in, like, those small locations, Atlanta may sound big, but when everybody's sleeping with everybody, that stuff spread like wildfire. And a lot of the people, I noticed that a lot of the men down there is
down low.
On the flip side,
you gotta understand that.
Right.
Yeah.
And they don't be the sassy looking Prince wearing clothes and pressed hair. They don't look like that. These are roughnecks.
Yeah, they be with the wife during the day. You be with that man at night.
And they having regular relationships with women, and they don't know no different. They talking about, I'm going over to my homeboy's house, and y'all having orgies instead of drinking beers and watching the game. That's some crazy stuff.
Yeah, yes it is.
Because it used to be, like, I know it was stereotypical, but it used to be a look for a gay man. It was evident, that they were who they were doing what they were doing, and you knew it. Everybody knew that boy was that way. But you can't label that stuff no more.
Oh, no.
No, you cannot label that stuff no more. But we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna close out the show. So if you have any reflection or anything, a closing statement that you'd like to make, go ahead.
I want to thank you for the opportunity to be on your show today. It was truly an honor and a blessing.
Oh, you are most welcome.
Thank you. And I was like, oh man, I got an interview today at 1 and I got a book signing at 3.
Oh, wow, yes. So you got to get on the road. Okay. Well, like I said, I appreciate you being on the show today. You make sure you travel safe to this book signing. Let everybody know where the signing is going to be.
The book signing is going to be at a public library in Macon, Georgia.
Okay. Can you get a name of it?
Oh, yeah, Peachtree Library.
Peachtree Library. Okay, guys, so if you're in the Macon, Georgia area, please look for Hezekiah. He is having a book signing at your bookstore, Peachtree Library, excuse me. So y'all show your love and give your support to him. And like I said, thank you so much for being on the show. And like I said, be careful out there on them streets and have a good day with your signing and everything. Good luck to you, okay? We look forward to seeing more from you, all right?
All right. Thank you.
All right. You're welcome. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
You are live at the Literary Lounge with your host, Destiny D, bringing you the newest and the brightest of the literary world right to your ear hole. Every Saturday from 1 to 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Tune in, listen up, and learn something. This is the spot for new hot authors who are given the opportunity to shine. Each Saturday from 1 to 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, we will showcase a new author here at the Literary Lounge. We are taking out the time to give all of our literary friends an opportunity to showcase their work. The New Author Spotlight is a platform that allows us to ask up to 10 questions or more to give you, the audience, the most in-depth current information about each writer in their literary piece. We will have a new guest every week. Stay tuned.